It looks like the facility has resumed its usual hours of operation without any further incident. If I were to guess, I'd say that Litho is using this time to save face for the large number of disappearances surrounding the company. Wiatt, what are you doing?
Just recording another video log before I head to work later today. Going through all the Dreamworld Entertainment material is taking forever, so we might as well document it.
Alright, fine. But don't lose track of how I organized everything.
Are you two still looking at all of those toys?
These are not toys, Celio. They're evidence from the scene of at least 10 murders. Potentially more. Oh, scratch that. Definitely more.
Uh-huh. So, being tied to a crime scene means that this isn't a stuffed animal?
Well, I guess I wouldn't say that.
Hey, Oliver, how are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. Still a little bit shaky, though.
Are you sure? Do you need to lay back down?
No, I'm tired of laying down. I just need to get my hands on Sara. Once I kill that awful bitch, I'll feel a lot better. Oh, won't that be nice? Doesn't that sound like fun? I think I'd like to teach her a thing or two about locking people in closets. Ow! I'm sorry. I won't actually do any of that. At least, I hope not. Damian, what if I...
You won't. You're gonna be fine.
Of course you are. See? Even Oddity thinks so. Isn't that right, little guy?
That checks out. Twimbos can feel and manipulate soul energy, so they probably don't like being around any broken souls. We should check your vitals again, just to be safe.
Oliver, why don't you tell me more about your day so far? We can record it, just in case we need the information later.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. This morning, when I woke up, I really wanted to try being more positive about our situation. Before we checked my vitals, I stopped by the bathroom. I think that more of my hair is turning white. Next, I tried smiling at him, but he didn't smile back, which seems wrong because he always smiled back before. I don't know. I think there's something wrong with that mirror.
All right, that sounds concerning. Hey, Damian, how come you know so much about essence and soul energy? Did you study it?
I'm afraid that's none of your business, Wiatt.
What? Come on, not even a hint?
No. Besides, I think you should finish documenting all of the merchandise before your shift today. We need to gather the animatronics and decide whose memories to find first.
All right, I'll work on that.
Damian, I know it's only been a few months since we met, but it feels like I've known you for a lot longer. I know that my soul is getting worse, but I really like you. I like you, and I don't know. Before the TV fell on me, I thought, maybe you...
I do, Oliver. I really do. We can talk about this later, alright? Let's make sure you're safe first.
Hello, and welcome to the Dreamworld Entertainment facility team. As one of our many valued employees, it is your job to make the most important decisions of your career today. To be more specific, how would you like to die? There are a long list of ways that we could send you off, and Dreamworld Entertainment will be more than happy to supply all needed materials for the endeavor. After all, we both know that you've seen way too much, and it is now your duty to this company to take your own life by any means necessary. Listen carefully to the following list of instructions. Option 1. Drown...
The following tape is only meant to be viewed by the directors of Watchful Eye Toys and Dreamworld Entertainment respectively. If any other parties have found this footage, their viewership is unauthorized, and they will be subject to a meeting with the designated cleanup crew. This meeting will likely result in... Please decide if what you're doing is worth it before you proceed. You have chosen to proceed with the confidential viewing of this tape. Welcome back, Director.
Excellent. Everything appears to be in order. Please state your name, age, and the reason why you're here speaking with me today.
My name is Owen Nicholson. I'm 50 years old, and I'm here because I needed to tell someone else what happened, and you're the only person who will see me.
That's understandable. Now, why don't you tell me how this all came to pass? Try recounting your day to me, as if it were a regular day like any other.
It was the anniversary of my wife's passing. For years now, I've always had the same routine. After I got out of bed, I made myself breakfast and got ready for work.
Where do you work exactly?
At a small arcade in a town a few hours north from here. It was my father's place, and I took over the family business after he disappeared. I think I'm older than he was by now. And that's kind of hard to think about. A son isn't supposed to outlive his father. Not like this, at least.
Was your father a good man, Mr. Nicholson?
He was, yes. He was, once. I remember when he used to let me wrestle with him in our living room. And he'd always tickle me or cheat to win. And for Halloween, he'd always... Well, he and Mom always made sure I had the best costume. And we'd spend hours carving pumpkins with tarps all over the kitchen floor. But when Mom got sick, he changed.
Changed?
He lost himself in his work for a while. And that was when I started having nightmares. My mom used to have night terrors all the time, so my dad didn't take it well. He was convinced that the nightmares was how she got sick. Seems stupid now, but back then, I was terrified. Counseling didn't really help me much, and then... sorry, it's not important. Anyways, where was I?
You went to work?
Yes, thank you. I went to work, but I felt like everyone was avoiding me. If it was because they were worried, they sure had an odd way of showing it. After work, I closed up the arcade for the night. I'd have to be back early the next day, but there was still one more stop I had to make.
Ah, yes. How could I forget? You had to make your visit to the cemetery.
Yes. But it's not for any big event, so how did you...
The anniversary of your wife's passing is hardly a small affair. Please, what happened next?
I went to visit my wife's gravesite, just like I always do. I brought her favorite flowers, lilies, but I don't recall where I got them from. When I put the flowers in front of her headstone, I noticed something I never had before. Written on the headstone, right next to hers, was my name. I guess that explains why work was so slow.
Indeed. I'd say that it does.
I take it that you knew then. Am I dead, Mr. Avid Miser?
Of course you are. But you're not the only one. In fact, you're one of hundreds in my collection.
If I died, how am I here? Isn't there supposed to be an afterlife, or is this all there is? Is this it?
I'm only human, Mr. Nicholson. Well, I was, anyway. I'm afraid these existential quandaries are questions that I cannot answer for you. I know not if there is an afterlife, nor if you'll be able to reach one after I'm done with you. I need your soul to power my machine.
Before we started this interview, you said that you knew my family. What happened to my son?
As your father knows, you never had a son. In fact, your daughter was killed before she would transition. Murdered before his very eyes by a man who would later work at this facility. I already spent years narrowing down my test subjects to the 3 with the most potential. So now all I have to do is wait for things to take their natural course. This concludes interview number 86. I will document this and proceed with the next soul for the collector animatronic. Thank you for your life, Mr. Nicholson. It certainly won't go to waste.
I think this will be a good spot to put the camera. Do you have any questions before we start?
Oh, where do we go when we die? If it's here, then what's supposed to come after?
Oh, I believe he meant questions about today's recording session for his, detective work.
Oh, in that case, no, I'm good. Wait, hang on. Now, I'm kind of worried about that. Because what if we just...
Okay, how about we try a question I can actually answer?
I have one. What exactly do you need us here for, Wiatt?
Yes, great question, Rex. Today, we're going to be investigating the employee records. So now's the perfect time to start getting your memories back. Once you can remember who you were when you were alive, we might be able to get you back in your human bodies.
It's about time! I was starting to think we'd be chasing you around down here forever. For such a small man, you're getting really hard to wrangle.
How long has it been since you started working here anyway? Didn't we erase our memories after the grand reopening? That was months ago.
Pop, don't be so rude. Wiatt has been working very hard to help all of us, so the least we can do is be patient with the investigation. Thank you, Wiatt. We appreciate this a lot.
Of course. What are friends for? Now, I just need you guys to pick who's going to get their memories back first. That way, Damian and I know where to start.
I believe that this is when I should note that I am disqualified from this position, seeing that I'd convinced Winnie to let me keep my memory. Ribbon Dancer and Eric also seem to have dodged that bullet, given how tangled their soul has become. So, that leaves the rest of you.
Right. Whoever we pick, we need to make sure that it's someone who's capable of helping the detectives. Having our memories back will be a big advantage, so this is an opportunity that we need to take very seriously.
What about you, Rex? I think you'd be a wonderful candidate.
Me?
Yeah, she's got a good point. You're always looking out for us, and you make sure that everybody is safe. Why not you?
All right, then it's settled. Rex will be getting your memories back first. Damian and I can start looking tonight, once I get an idea where to start.
Why don't you ask him? That guy looks like he's got a lot of ideas in his head.
Oh, I will. Thanks. I will. Hey, Hayden. What's up? I don't think I've ever seen you this tired.
Go fuck yourself.
Hello to you too, jeez. What's wrong, man? Ever since that meeting, you've been slowing down.
Are you really this stupid, or do you just want to hear me say it?
Say what? Is it about Audrey?
No, I'm pissed because I failed my 5th grade math test. Yes, it's about Audrey. Why the hell would it not be? She's missing, asshole. And probably dead by now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Of course you are. Big shock. Mr. Perfect Suck-Up wants to be on good terms with all of his co-workers. I thought you only gave a shit about the robots and the boss.
Hayden, we've been working together for over a year now. If I didn't think of you as a friend by now, why would I still be talking to you?
I don't know, okay? Look, I'm not feeling well. I didn't want to think about Audrey, so I let one of those twin blow things come home with me. It's doing something to my head, man. It's a great distraction, sure, but it feels like I'm losing pieces of myself little by little. Now I don't even know how I got here, and sometimes I just completely forget why I was upset. It's so fucked.
Yeah, Twimbles do have the tendency to take a lot out of you. Why didn't you tell me before?
What? I told you about this yesterday, Wiatt. I thought you were playing dumb to be a dick.
You did? Shit. And this week I just brought Oddity back. That can't be good.
Let me see. Maybe if I... Aha! I did it! Astra, I got my new camera working!
Wow, Morris, that's a super nifty camera you got there.
What's it for?
Well, since I've had my memories erased by the directors so many times, I thought it would be smart to start recording stuff. It was gonna be for that, anyway, before Norman decided to become a good guy and help me out. He pinky promised that he wouldn't brainwash me again, even if the director told him to. So now I can just use my camera to film fun stuff.
Why don't you go show Norman, then? He's a super fancy narrator guy. I'm sure he'd love to be the star of your first film. Maybe you could interview him.
That's a great idea! Thanks, Astra. I'm gonna go ask him now. Norman! Hey, Norman! I got a new camera, and Astra suggested that I interview you with it. Can you answer a few questions for me?
Morris, now is hardly the time for an interview. Ever since that Celio person escaped the facility, Sara has been raving non-stop about bringing them back. Just like I told you, I will be finishing the job for her.
But you promised that you'd answer any questions I had about the facility, and that should include questions about the people who work here. You can't just dodge my questions because you're busy with work.
Actually, I can. Quite easily, too. Watch.
Norman! Can't you save your morally questionable paperwork for after my interview? Please?
Ugh, fine. It'll have to be quick. Plotting a murder isn't exactly easy, you know.
Actually, I didn't know, but great! Question 1. What's your name?
You already know my name.
What about your last name?
Serling. Norman Serling. You can't put this video online, by the way.
I won't. Probably.
Morris.
Question 2. What's your favorite color?
Pink, obviously.
Wrong! That's not your favorite color. That's Sarah's. It doesn't count.
What do you mean it doesn't count? This is... Ugh! Indigo. My favorite color is indigo.
Really? Huh. I never would have guessed that. You know, when I was alive, my hair was...
What was the next question?
Oh, right. Question 3. What is your favorite memory from when you were alive?
That's a very drastic shift in tone, isn't it?
It is, but I gotta know. I can barely remember anything about my life, just blurry faces and small pieces of distant memories. Can you humor me? I promise this will be the last question.
I remember everything from when I was alive. I even remember the very last day before I died.
Really? What was it like? Oh, sorry, that's another question.
That sort of question is fine. As for my answer, it was just another boring day at school.
You went to school?
Of course. You did too, Morris.
I did? Were we classmates?
Yes, we were.
Were we friends?
Yes.
Why do you seem so sad about it? If we were friends, wouldn't that have been a good thing?
Of course it was, yes. It was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. I hadn't known that yet.
Did you have any other friends?
I believe so. After all, Sarah's friends quickly became my friends after we got acquainted. Their names were Lewis and Oliver. Lewis was brilliant, and I loved engaging in all sorts of creative discussions with him, even if he teased me relentlessly for dating Sara. Oliver didn't really talk to anyone very much, although I'm not sure if it was because he's shy or if something else was on his mind. He was always so distant.
Wait, if you remember everything that happened before you died, shouldn't you remember who killed you?
I suppose so, yes. Why do you ask?
If I was killed by accident and Sara was in charge of killing everyone else, who killed you?
Morris, that's a ridiculous question.
So you don't know?
What? No, of course I do. I've simply never thought to retrieve the memory before, since it was never something I've needed. Here, I'll find the file now. That's strange. The memory of my death doesn't seem to be in any of my files.
Did someone hide it?
I doubt that. No, I must have simply lost track of it, that's all. Hold on.
Oh my gosh! Norman, are you all right?
Yes, I'm perfectly fine. Oh, it seems that my memory has been compromised.
Really? But by who?
I have no clue. Honestly, the only other person with access to my hard drive is Sara herself, and she would never...
She would never... What? She's your girlfriend, right?
She was...
I don't get it. Why would Sara hide your death from you if you can remember everything else? I mean, I can only think of one reason why, but that's just silly. Sure, she killed all those other folks, but you're her boyfriend. Like, you were her boyfriend when you were alive, and now you're still her boyfriend after you died, too. Actually, you're the only animatronic that was built to look like a human person, too. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, crazy. That's a good word for it. Well, I do wish that you'd be working a shift down in my theater. I suppose that this will still be a relatively nice job for today.
I know, right? I don't even have to interact with any of the guests.
I knew that you'd be excited about that. Now, I must be off to help the others, but do call if you need me for anything. I'll see you before you clock out. Good luck, darling.
Thanks, Star. I'll see you then. Alright, all of the kids are gone for the day, so it's just you and me, bud. I promised to cover Pin's shift so he could take time off to help Hayden, but I don't know a lot about how you're supposed to organize the craft supplies.
Organize it all by color. Duh! That way we can make a beautiful rainbow.
Got it. Sort it by color. But what about all of these paintbrushes?
Hey, Wiatt! I'm gonna try a really, really, really big jump!
Why do we let the guests paint so close to the playground equipment? Isn't that a safety hazard? Wait, what was that about a big... Ribbon Dancer! Oh my fuck! It's a miracle that you're not damaged. Why would you do that?
Do what exactly?
Jump off the top of the trampoline park, obviously. You could have been seriously hurt. Why are your eyes different?
Oh dear, I'm sorry. I think they change whenever I feel like myself again.
Feel like you're... Eric? Is that you?
You know who I am?
Yeah, you were Lewis's favorite professor. You taught him practically everything he knows. And Carly used to talk about you all the time. I can't believe you're you!
I've always been here, you know. I just get a little lost in the chaos sometimes. We seem to have completely separate minds.
Wait, like you're two different people in one animatronic? How does that work?
Ridley says that my soul was damaged when I died, since it was Winnie's first time harvesting a soul from someone. It didn't completely shatter, but a small part of my soul did break off, and that was the part controlling Ribbon Dancer most of the time. After experiencing life for so long, he eventually became fully sentient on his own. It's actually very fascinating.
Wait a second. Who's Ridley?
Well, you know him as Ribbon Dancer, but we're actually both possessing the Ribbon Dancer animatronic, so he needed a real name of his own. Ridley was his favorite. He's a real wonderful boy, you know.
I can see why Lewis said you were basically everyone's dad.
He said that? Oh, that's actually very sweet. Oliver must be rubbing off on him.
Speaking of Oliver, he's actually recovering from the TV that was on his head. Damian said his soul was broken too, but we're trying to make sure he heals properly.
Damian? Damian Klein? You boys know the Ghost Eye detective?
Yeah, we do. What, do you know about him? He never answers any of my questions.
Well, I know everything that Oliver told me whenever I'd visit the facility. Damian used to be an attorney working for a small law firm downtown, but he was frustrated with all of the shady dealings the group had a hand in. In fact, if it weren't for the monetary advantages of the industry, the law firm itself would have been nothing but a front. When a particularly nasty murder case popped in, Damian knew that the firm was being paid off to cover it up, so he decided to take things into his own hands. He quit his job and became a private eye detective.
But what about his ghost eye? How did that part happen?
The truth is, I don't know. Oliver said that Damian was reviewing his evidence in a diner one evening when a strange man came to join him. He hid his face behind a gas mask, and it was impossible to see even an inch of skin on that man's body. The man said that his name was Savior, and he gave Damian some sort of token? Maybe a card or a chip? I don't recall. After he had accepted the gift, Damian started seeing all sorts of incredible things. I believe Damian had told Oliver that most of the paranormal events with souls seemed to be a result of Xavier's meddling. But that bit was, just a theory. I can tell you more about this later if you have any questions about the town. I've lived here for most of my life, so I know a lot about the strange events that have happened here.
That would be awesome! Thanks, Eric. Hold on. Let me go find somewhere to write this down.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there.
It's okay. I wasn't looking where I was going. What can I help you with?
I'm looking for my daughter, Hazel. She was visiting today with some of her friends. Have you seen her?
Sara, one of the animatronics has 2 souls inside of its body. The first soul is harmless, but the second soul seems to be causing problems.
Problems? What kind of problems?
The kind of problems where Wiatt Nicholson is suddenly able to access all sorts of dangerous information about the detective that he never had before. It's the second soul in Ribbon Dancer.
I see. Yes, that is a problem. A very big problem indeed. Thank you for keeping me informed, Rain, but I will see to it that this little issue is resolved properly.
As soon as the facility is closed, I'll take that miserable little soul and stash him away where nobody will ever think to look.
Hey, Sara! You got another round of... what the fuck?
Carlos, if you want to keep the remaining teeth in that jaw, I suggest that you get out!
You know, it was actually a very pleasant afternoon. I do enjoy it when we get the chance to speak like this. Do you think that Oliver will be all right?
I hope so. I never really got to properly meet the guy. What was he like?
Oh, you won't have to worry about that for much longer. Hello, Eric. It seems like the two of us haven't really been seeing eye to eye. How about we fix that? It's time for us to have a little chat.